Hello, Uta here with an in memoriam um, for a trans widow. This is Olesya Sinkova. She was murdered a year ago by her husband, who had started full-time cross-dressing. Um, this one is kind of getting to me, um, partially because I recognize her as a strong woman who was stuck in a situation, had already done so much for herself and her 3 children, and she knew that she needed to get out. She had requested help from law enforcement, who were not taking it very seriously and who were probably treating this dude with kid gloves because apparently he was full-time cross-dressing. So when the police got called, it's likely that he was wearing a dress and presenting as a woman. We don't have that information, um, for sure here, but it said that he had started cross-dressing full-time. So this is 35-year-old Olesya Sinkova. Elise, I think it's a similar name to Alicia for Ukrainian. They were refugees from the war in Ukraine, left Ukraine in 2022. One of the other reasons that I guess I feel sort of connection to her is that she had become a yoga instructor. There is a Facebook page that you can check out and look at the beauty of what she was doing. She was trying to help other refugee women. And this guy should have been removed from the home. He should have been put in jail before he killed her. And I guess I feel a need to put this out because I am collecting the sole data in the world about trans widows and what we women who have divorced, suddenly demanding, suddenly full-time cross-dressing husbands have been through. And if they had my data, in which around 40%, around 40% of the time, with 70-something women included, they are violent to their wife. And the thing is, I hope that he is never allowed to have visitation with their 3 children, because he will mess with their minds, especially the youngest, who had to have been a toddler because she talked about breastfeeding the youngest in 2022 when they fled Ukraine. This is from a website called Not the Bee. There's her Instagram and maybe a TikTok, and also on Redux and the Facebook. There's also Redux, reduxx.org. This is on there just today. So this Alexander, the husband, he was just handed an 11-year sentence, which I think is too short, for strangling his ex-wife to death in August of 2024 because she called him a sissy for wearing women's clothes. I tried to avoid doing stuff like that. I would imagine that being from an Eastern European background, that she found that to be perfectly acceptable. In Germany, with self-ID and with the very pro-trans, culture that they have there, I think, you have to avoid that. Um, and but she didn't bring this on herself. This is a very violent man, and I think they said he's in a women's prison in Germany. Okay. I have this cup that says "It is what it is" on it, and I don't usually take time to do this. If this is all you want to know about this, Olesya Sinkova, Olesya or SIA, Sinkova, which is the usual name ending for last names for women. Ova. It would be OV with no A at the end if it was for a male in Ukrainian. But if this is if this is as far as you get, then this is as far as you get in this video. This is the second one that I know of where the husband strangled the wife to death. The first one was Jennifer Anderson. Her husband, Keir Anderson, strangled her to death as she was trying to leave. I think they also had 3 children, or at least two daughters. And of course, he said she had hung herself or something, and the police, when they arrived on the scene, they could tell right away that that was strangulation. And I think he even maybe pled guilty. But he's serving 25 to life in a women's prison. I don't think 11-year sentence is at all enough for this very violent man in Germany. Anyway, to continue. Okay. Sinkova and her husband had built a new life in Germany after fleeing Ukraine with their 3 children in 2022. Sinkova had quickly adjusted well to life in Germany, learning the language, and training to be a yoga instructor. She became an advocate for other refugees and held inspirational workshops targeted at women in need. Privately, however, Sinkova remained trapped in a toxic relationship with Alexander. She told friends and relatives she feared for her safety and repeatedly contacted authorities, saying her ex-husband often prevented her and the children from leaving the apartment. That is like the height of narcissistic abuse, because they isolate you and they prevent you from having contact with the outside world. These children were also abused by him, and I'm not saying that he hit them, because it doesn't say this, and we trans widows are always scrupulously honest. However, he endangered them because he did this violence to their mother in front of the children. Things escalated from there, and in 2023, Alexander began his public coming out, in quotes, by wearing women's clothing in public, fulfilling a cross-dressing transvestite fantasy. By August of 2024, exactly a year ago, he had increasingly become violent. Who knows what kind of drugs he was on? Just hours before her death, she posted a video to Instagram showing bruises on her body and reporting that Alexander had blocked the apartment doors and dragged her away from the exit when she tried to leave. She had managed to call the police, but officers didn't stay long after responding to the call. Now, they should have taken him. They should have at least remanded him for a few hours and figured out someplace else for her to go. Anyway, he should have just been put in jail for a while, and she should have been encouraged to press charges against him. But within hours of the visit of the police, Sinkova would be dead. The now convicted killer tried to stage the scene to look like self-defense, but police showed he had tampered pretty substantially with the crime scene, and the court agreed. He hid his wife's naked body from his children in the lawn. Okay. I bet he took her clothes and he later wore them. Okay, with a duvet cover, covered it with a duvet cover, which is like a comforter cover. Then took them to his workplace, took his children to his workplace and told him he had killed their mother. Oh, great. I'm really hoping he doesn't get visitation, and I'm hoping there are some relatives who can take these children. He tried to frame his wife as the aggressor for not accepting his preferred gender identity, a strategy that all too often works in court these days. During the trial, he tried to present himself as the victim of Sinkova's intolerance, claiming she had derided him with insults. You know, it's the usual words. The court ultimately rejected his claims, with presiding judge Peter Korfers calling the killing an utterly senseless act that left 3 children half orphans. They're not half orphans, Judge Korfers. They are orphans. Okay. Yeah. The children who overheard the attack are now undergoing therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. One of the children, a daughter, described her father as a monster and told a therapist she had wanted to help her mother but was too terrified to leave the room. Let's see. Because of my dance background and the fact that I do have a wellness movements playlist here, I just feel this connection to Olesya Sinkova. In court, husband claimed self-defense, said that she attacked him with a vacuum cleaner pipe and that he had restrained her until she stopped moving. Prosecutors disproved this with evidence at the crime scene. The vacuum cleaner he spoke of was neatly out of reach in a hallway. Court documents and witness testimony showed escalating hostility rooted in her rejection of his female persona. He said things like she reacted to his proclivities with cruelty. That's probably translated from the Ukrainian, but that's how they translated it. The court rejected claims that her behavior justified his violence. And yeah. Anyway, there she is. Don't forget. Olesya Sinkova and Jennifer Anderson. May they rest in peace, and may this never happen again. Take time to recover from this deep, dark story.